Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Benton with the Chris and Sandy Show. We'll get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have singer-songwriter Derek Vanderhorst with us today. He was diagnosed with stage 4 head and neck cancer in 2016 and told he might lose his voice or worse yet, might not make it. Now, 5 years cancer-free and after hundreds of hours of vocal rehab, Derek has reclaimed his voice as an Americana artist and is releasing his first ever solo album, Wildflower.
And we're excited to have him on. So welcome to the show.
Oh, yes, thanks, guys. Welcome. I'm excited to be here. It's so cool.
So, I know your story is going to be a little different on this part, but I always go here. How did COVID affect you and what have you done through this?
Man, I'm like even listening to your guys' show and talking to friends and everybody else. It was hard on a lot of people when it first started, right? Mm-hmm. Just the fear of where do I grab toilet paper? Where do I do this? How long is this going to last? How long are we going to be in this mess? And losing Kenny Rogers and all, kind of heroes and stuff in the early stages. It was really tough the first couple months. And then I settled into it and picked up a guitar and started, just locked myself in this room. And started writing music. Yeah. So for me, the first 2-3 months were probably the worst. Watching the news, everyone uncertain, you're hearing different things. Just the uncertainty, right? Because we're all used to waking up in the morning and life kind of being the same.
And then all of a sudden it shook everybody.
Yeah, it did. How did you guys do with all of that?
Well, the crazy thing is we launched this show January 2020, like I was telling you before the show. And my original plan was maybe 100 interviews our first year. And I thought that'd be a great foundation for first year show. And then when COVID happens, I'm sitting there I'm watching everything get shut down. And we can't change all that. But I'm this could be a blessing for us because everybody's going to be available. People who normally wouldn't come on a brand new show might be willing to come on a brand new show. Yeah. So we started reaching out to all the people from big artists to small artists, everybody. And we end up doing over 300 interviews that first year. And we're over 500 now because of this.
Wow. That's amazing.
We just hunkered down and ran.
Yeah.
That's all we could do.
And I think art benefited in friends were writing books, doing paintings. People were learning to cook and bake. I still have 50 pounds of flour in the kitchen that I still haven't used. I watched Great British Bake Off and then tried to do a loaf of bread. And I was like, that's not for me. We'll leave that to the professionals. But I think art really, it did a lot of good. For this,
and it gave people a lot of people, they're in their rut jobs, and I say that because they would say that. Not everybody's in a rut job, but a lot of people they're in these jobs that they don't really like, and COVID actually gave them a chance to either go back to school, go to a trade school, go learn another skill, now they're pursuing a passion that they never imagined because it gave them time.
You're seeing a lot of that, including me. Right? I was in music in the 90s and toured and things. And then after the cancer diagnosis and then COVID, you were only here for a second. So, you got to kind of pursue the dreams, as foolish or courageous or crazy as they are.
Exactly. Because I just turned 50 last August. And, we're pursuing a crazy entertainment show here at our age. Who does that, right?
Who does it? That's amazing. I love that story. And I think we're proving it's never too late.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I'm even taking a step further. We're planning on moving to Nashville spring of 23. And one of the things that we're going to do up there is, a lot of people, they do a lot of your business events have these 40 under 40, 30 under 30. Well, we're actually going to launch a charity event for Nashville that's for 40 over 40 because nobody does that.
Right. Nobody does that. My sister was one of those 30 under 30. I never was.
and the charity that we're going to tie into it with is the charity of Steve Dorff and his charity.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Steve, the senior or junior?
Senior.
Senior. Because I am good friends with Junior.
Because remember his charity was is for Andrew Dorff, because of his
Who
passing.
passed away
And that
a few
charity
years
is such
ago,
a great
fortunately.
charity. And I was like, and I was looking for something to kind of tie, because again, if you're going to do a big event, don't just do a big event, tie it in some type of charity too, make it actually worth something. And I was asking around for my Nashville friends, what should we do for the charity side? And a friend of mine, Carla Williams, said, I've got the perfect person. So she introduced us to Steve Dorff, and the rest is history.
Amazing. And Steve, as you guys know, have you seen his book? I wrote that one too, is the title of it.
Oh, wow.
And you start looking at all the songs that he wrote. I mean, Andrew was a brilliant writer as well, and singer. I mean, and so is Steven Dorff, Andrew's brother. I don't know if you've seen his documentary. It was kind of a mockumentary where he goes to Nashville to try and make it, and then actually gets in with these producers and things and does an album.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah. I think the title is Wheeler.
Definitely check that out.
Man, Steve Dorff Sr. wrote, Every Which Way But Loose. The list is long and amazing.
Long.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about the cancer side first. Because again, our show is up close and personal. We like to get a little personal. We love the raw stories because that's what makes this world. Is pain connects us all.
Yes, and I'm a cancer survivor as well. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma at age 19.
Oh my God.
25 years cancer free now.
I love hearing that. Oh man.
19. And she wasn't supposed to have be able to have kids, and we got two.
No, we have two miracle babies.
And there you are. That's the story, isn't it? You're not supposed to.
Tell us about your diagnosis and how it changed everything.
Well, I drink a lot because I don't have saliva, so I'm going to take another sip real quick before I get into this. And I chew gum all the time too, just to keep liquid going through my mouth.
Yeah.
So if it's annoying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry in advance.
No problem.
So I was working on a film, and I started feeling a lump on my neck.
Okay.
And then I was going to Canada to do some hiking, and went away for a week or two, and then came back on the film, and my buddy was like, "Hey, there's a bump on your neck," because I was trying to ignore it.
Oh, wow.
And so right then the director on the film's like, "You need to go see my doctor. He's the best." And I went to see him, and he took me into his office. It was like house. He had a big wood desk, sat me down, and I was like, if I'm ending up in here instead of the other room, this is bad, isn't it? He goes, "Well, I'm going to get you in to see a surgeon tonight."
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It was, and so he called the surgeon, Namazi, and he was on his way home. He turned around, went back to his office, and came to meet me. And then things progressed very quickly. I was really lucky. I was working a lot for Fox Studios at the time, and Ted Galliano for the film side. Ted Galliano, who was kind of the executive of the post-production and production, does fundraisers for charity or fundraisers for cancer, mainly brain tumors and things. And so he got me plugged into UCLA and got me a great chemo oncologist and that whole thing. And luckily he did that because the protocol is normally to do surgery first.
Yes.
And the chemo oncologist and the radiation oncologist took me aside and said, "You're lucky you saw us first. If you saw the surgeon first, which is standard, cutting your neck open."
Wow.
And they said it doesn't improve your odds at all.
Oh, wow.
So we just went with chemo and radiation, and the radiation is crazy. They take this plastic mesh and then they put you on a table and they heat it up,
Mm.
and they hold you down and then start pinning it around your face and molding it. So it has to be hot when they mold it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I panicked.
Yes.
They put me on some happy drug, and then I don't remember anything after that. But yeah, I went in with claustrophobia.
Mm-hmm.
Came out of the experience with no claustrophobia because every day they're tacking you on like they would like a car panel to a table in this Star Trek machine. I could probably show you a picture if you guys want to see it.
Sure.
It's going to be off my phone. But
Okay.
I'm super passionate about this because I lived through it, and I didn't know anything about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I don't think people do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Wow, is this going to work? Let's see. Can you see that?
Huh.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, that's the mask. And then this will be the machine they put you in. And you can see, see the mask.
Yes.
And so they pin you to that every day and basically just burn the shit out of you. Oh, sorry. Did that work?
Wow.
They burn you. And from the inside and the outside. So I was like, I would like take sips of morphine and swish it in my mouth and then like ensure to try and not lose weight. Because if you lose too much weight, they give you a feeding tube. And you lose your swallow muscles.
Wow.
Once you lose your swallow muscles, you lose, there's a chance you could never eat again, speak, all that kind of thing. So, so I would just like cry through the pain, like 3 hours.
You're probably freaking out because your career is with your voice.
It wasn't at that point. I had stopped doing music for a while, but the chemo could have made me deaf. And that was one of the things we talked about. So we came up with the protocol to do a lighter dose of chemo more often. And so it saved my hearing. And but with them saying I might lose my voice, I was like, if I don't, and I'm really stubborn, I said, if I don't, I'm going to start a band and become a singer, which I'd never done before. I was just playing guitar. So, it sounds like maybe Tom Waits woke up on the wrong side of the bed for a long time, but it's getting better. And I've been working with the voice coach who does healing. Like people who have injuries. I've been working with him, and it's been online like this, which has been amazing. I would have never been able to study with him before COVID. So all full circle, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Full circle. Yes.
It's like everything just comes right back around. As you know, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do and all that, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to make it in entertainment. Whether it was when you were in film or in music, it doesn't matter. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And I always want to talk about that side of it because that's, I think, the key to a lot of people. They never make it beyond the sacrifice and the struggle side. They quit way too early. So tell us a little bit about some of the sacrifices and struggles you've had to go through in your career.
So I quit way too early. I was one of those stories. I was touring with the band and, we would stay at like a Motel 6 at best. That was like the nicest hotel we ever stayed in. We all got lice onto, it was really hard. There'd be times you're playing in front of 4 drunk people in a small bar, and then days where you have to do like radio in the morning, and then a college show in the afternoon, and then drive through the snow for 3 hours to do a show at night. And it's a lot of work. And I came to LA, and a friend of mine was like, hey, do you want to hold boom on a movie I'm doing? Which is a boom with a microphone on the end to record that. And I was like, I've never done it, but sure. And he goes, well, it pays. And I go, yeah, I'll be right there. And so I made like, $80 or $100 that day. And I was like, wow, I can make money. That was a new thing. Because even with record deals and stuff, we were like going to the record label and I mention which one it was, and they'd have bagels, and we'd just be filling up our bags, and we kind of live on that for a week or two. So it's a struggle for sure, right? I mean, you guys know, you've interviewed so many artists who've gone through this. It's hard. And now I'm at a point where I can make money and do music. Which
Gotta love that.
Gives you a little freedom and makes it a little more enjoyable for sure. But I'm trying to move to just do music. That's kind of the next year or two plan. I have a lot of things coming up. So yeah, we'll see how it all goes.
I love that. And you're going to perform for us, aren't you?
I would love to. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us what you're going to tell us a little bit about what you're going to perform, and then the floor is yours.
Well, then, I mean, we got on the cancer subject. So the thing you find out, and which you found out about cancer, is like all your amazing friends and family and the people who just come out to support you. I had my friend Beth was taking me to my treatments every day. Family flew out. A friend from Colorado, where I'm from, flew out. But there's one person in my life who kind of wasn't there in the way that I needed. A person who should have been there for sure. So I wrote this song about that. Should we do that one?
Sure.
Please do.
Yeah. Roll over here and grab us a guitar.
Okay.
And this is a Can't Fall in Love.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Can you guys hear that all right?
Yes, we can.
So this is actually one of the first songs I wrote.
Oh wow.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And it's going to be the first track on the new album, which is coming out April 15th.
Oh,
Great.
Cool.
I'm going to take a little sip of water here. These old shoes were like an old last friend. Haven't got a thread or stitch to mend. Old saying true, no place like home. Walls are empty and I'm left alone. Never did like the clothes I wear. Never liked the way I comb my hair. Your hand. Never liked the way my jokes they land. Never really thought that we'd grow old. You closed the door, left me in the cold. Never understood the words I sing. Never really listened anyway. Never really listened anyway. There's one thing that I can't do. Fall in love again with you. Only thing that I can't do is fall in love again with you. Fall in love again with you. Watching as the crows fly high. Got the freedom on my mind. Girls in the corner smoking cigarettes. I sit here gasping for my breath. When you're gone and it ain't too soon. You took the air out of this room. Took the air out of this room. You took the air out. Never really thought that we'd grow old. You closed the door, left me in the cold. Never understood the words I sing. Never really listened anyway. Never really listened anyway. There's one thing that I can't do. Fall in love again with you. Fall in love again. Fall in love again with you.
Beautiful song. Powerful song.
Yeah. So, not all the songs are that sad. So, yeah. But you have to, I mean, I think that's what we do as artists, right? You kind of purge all that.
It's like they say, if you're going to date a musician, just know that you're going to be in their songs, positive or negative.
Yeah, right? Everything. Yeah. I know. I keep writing songs about my little nieces. I wrote an ABC song for them. Yeah. So they better behave.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like Taylor Swift, she's the master at that.
Oh, yes.
Amazing, right?
She is.
Dolly Parton, like you listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So many great songwriters. The other thing about COVID was like, and I know it's super overwhelming going online looking for music now.
Yeah.
But so much great music out there.
Oh, yes, there is.
So much great music. And then it's been really inspiring.
And like, I know people that they get frustrated because of they feel like country's changing. And I'm like, if you go online, what I like about country music is you've got your traditional country, you got your pop country, you got your rock country, Christian country. Country is a blend of everything. And there's something for everyone under the country umbrella.
100%. Right? It's just American music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why I think we love about country, because we like it all. I know people hate Georgia, Florida line, and people we love them. But we also love, your traditional, like Johnny Cash,
Haggard. We love it all. Willie Nelson. I mean, everything.
I don't know enough about music to hate any of it yet. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. I like that. So I don't know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
it's about again, because everybody that's doing music has that talent, and it's like why be the person that has to put them down? They're doing their music their way,
pursuing
their
passion,
and they'll have a tribe that likes that.
Yeah, man, and it'll mean something to those people,
yeah.
and it'll help those people, and it'll get those people through their day.
Exactly.
And I'm just I was just at South by Southwest. I played a show down there.
Oh, wow.
And I was sandwiched between like a traditional country 6-piece and a hip hop band. And it was just me with the guitar. It was probably the scariest thing I've ever done, for sure. Because it was just these big sounds and then me with an acoustic guitar in between them. But the country band was amazing, and then the hip hop band was amazing. And I was like, what a cool thing. Like, people don't care anymore. They don't go just to see this music or this music.
Yeah.
They just go to see music. And after COVID, we're all like, I just want to see people without a mask. I want to hug someone.
Yeah.
And I want to shake someone's hand. And I want that physical human connection. I don't know how to behave anymore in public. Like, I'm like, I got to put shoes on. Yeah.
Yes.
We all got to learn that again, right?
Yeah.
And my fiance always talks about. She's like, oh no, I just dress up from the waist up, because she's online a lot.
Yes.
A lot of people that do Zooms and all that they always tell you that they don't do anything that below waist.
Nothing. I even showered for you guys today. I was like, I usually shower at night, but I'm gonna do a morning shower. Yeah. So we're all learning how to be I think better humans from all of this.
Yes.
I think that's the big thing that COVID has done. Although there is a divide out there, and I get that, but the divide really is on social media. Once you get in the real world, the divide is not there.
People don't talk to people like that in the real world.
And it's amazing to watch when you like you said, COVID has really put perspective in a lot of people, because we all know that life is short. We've always known that, but COVID made it to where, wow, life really is short.
Yeah. And art and family and love and all these things that are kind of everything in life, right?
Mhm.
And we're all like, what's the meaning of life? I think we all know now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that,
That's like, a lot of people have put us down because, we've been married, it'll be 20 years this year. And we've always been a 24/7 couple. That's what we wanted. That's how we chose to live our
We've
marriage.
always worked together.
that's
And so-
friends.
Yeah. And so many people would say,
Yeah.
oh, that's unhealthy. That's this, that's that. And it's like, I married her to be with her, not apart from her. Again, if you want to be 60, 70, 80 hours a week away from your spouse, that's you. That's not what I want. That's not the life I wanted to choose.
Yeah.
And so we chose this life. And the crazy part is, because we homeschool our son too, but the crazy part has been put down for that. But here it is, COVID happened. And the next thing you know, society tried to make us live like them. And now society for a few months had to live like us.
Few months for a couple of years. And
Yeah, a couple years.
and homeschooling your kids, like
Yeah.
who didn't?
Yeah.
Right?
So again, we, when everybody had to go through this change, this was normal for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people grew closer or reevaluated during this
Yep.
period.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of
That's
people
what we've
divorced in that
observed.
time.
Oh man, painfully,
sad.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And again, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I know one of the big reasons why I think that a lot of people divorce, especially through this, is, if you're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, spouse working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and you're never together, and you maybe spend a little bit on the weekends together, well, eventually you're going to grow apart. So then all of a sudden they got thrown together and they realize, oh, you changed.
24/7.
24/7. And next thing they know, they were trying to relearn each other, but it was almost too late for some.
You just described my story.
That
That was it. I mean,
Oh,
the
wow.
film industry is brutal on hours.
Mm-hmm.
There were times I'd work 70, 80 hours a week. You know, I
Wow.
mean,
Wow.
for 6 months in a row, 7 days a week, I'd be working. So it's definitely hard on relationships. And I think young people, because I mentor a lot of people who want to get into this business, into the film business. And they're a lot smarter than I was. Like they saw their parents work like that. They saw all these things happen.
They want balance.
And they want balance and they understand balance. I was working with one, Jacob, who's now become a great friend, who I was mentoring. And he's like, oh, I'm going to Hawaii for 2 months. Right in the middle of a movie. I'm like, yeah, you are. That's something I would have never even thought of. And so they're teaching me balance as well. And my fiance teaches work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's helpful as well.
And that's why I love it when you see a lot of the singers. Now, granted, it takes sometimes years to get here, but a lot of the big artists, what do? Take their spouse and families with them on tour.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm afraid of is touring too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure all that out. I have a great manager and we're trying to sort everything out.
Yeah.
Just to keep a balance in life.
Exactly.
So
I mean, again, we've lost money through the years because we try to keep this balance of the 24/7 couple here. But again, it's like, I know what I want and I'm willing to give up some things to keep what we have here.
Yeah.
And but I know that we can build something from the show to other stuff in Nashville to where we can create the business around our marriage.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been trying to build is build that income around our marriage instead of our marriage around the income.
And, I worked like a fool for over 20 years and I bought stuff that I could never use because I never had time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow.
So the importance of your wife and your family and your son and like all these things are way more important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'll hear from our son in a little bit because we always bring him on to ask a few questions.
We call him our third co-host.
In fact,
yeah.
get him now.
I'll go
I
get
have
him.
I have heard his questions, and he's a fan of pineapple pizza, and I think that was my favorite as a
Oh wow! So go get
I'll
him.
go get
young kid as well. I've moved. My palate has changed a little since pineapple pizza, but yeah, that was my favorite.
Yeah, he tried it because so many people would ask him, well, what kind of pizza do you like? It has always been, pepperoni and supreme. And then they were like, have you tried pineapple? He's like, no. And so many people have asked that. And he's like, well, I want to try it. So one day he tried it. He liked it.
And he was like, yeah, that's pretty legit. Yeah, that's good. So are you guys doing your show from home then, right? And then you'll just take it to Nashville.
Yep, because we can take it anywhere, and
anywhere.
The goal would be one day to have a show to where it's on TV too, and maybe it can even, if it's big enough, we got the advertisers and all that, we can fly people in to be on the show, like Jay Leno always did, and Jimmy Fallon, and
and with all the streaming services now, right?
Because I would like to have a show one day to where we can combine it, where maybe we have one guest that's in person and one guest that's virtual.
I love that idea. Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. Hi, Derek. So what's favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm going to go with pizza with you. I mean,
he's listening to some of your answers.
Yeah. Yes. And I told him pineapple used to be my favorite. Now it's mushroom black olive, which a lot of people hate both those things, but that's my favorite. How about you?
Yeah.
Is it still pineapple for you though?
Huh?
Still pineapple pizza?
Yeah.
Is that the favorite?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's all right. So what's your favorite TV show?
Have you guys watched Ted Lasso?
We
haven't yet.
So everybody told me it's the best show of all time and all this. And so I didn't want to see it. I was like, no, that's too much hype. And then I just watched it. And I think the magic of Ted Lasso is it's such an uplifting, like just heartfelt show at the right time.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a really sweet, sweet show.
That's like This Is Us came out at the right time.
It came out at the right time. Yeah. So I'm going Ted Lasso.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's yours?
My favorite TV show is SpongeBob.
Can't go wrong with SpongeBob, right?
Everybody likes SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Everybody likes SpongeBob. It's a smart show and funny. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
Boy, this is gonna be controversial, but my favorite movie is Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
I've seen it probably 20 times, and every time it comes on, no matter where it is in the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll finish that. Yeah.
And my wife and I met online on February 2nd of 2002.
Oh wow.
So it's like 222.
222. And then we just passed 2222.
Yep.
How about that? Did you watch Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen
All
it.
right, good. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is The Minions.
Dominion, yeah.
Can't go wrong there.
How many times have you seen that?
Probably 1,000.
Oh, yeah. Literally.
Every day.
Him and a little 3-year-old sister watches that thing every day, multiple times a day.
I think I was like that with Blazing Saddles because it was so irreverent when I was young. I think I watched that every day for, at least a summer. Yeah.
Bye,
that's awesome. Oh, nice meeting you.
So since you just met our third co-host, our team member, as you know, a lot of people, they see what you do and everything you do, but they don't see the team behind you. So tell us a little bit about your team that helps you be who you are.
Well, so when I started writing music, I couldn't sing. So my buddy Max Waller, who's got a beautiful voice and composes for film and stuff, he would sing on all the songs. I would do the lyrics and stuff, and he would record. So he's been amazingly helpful through this whole process. And then when I was like, hey, I'm going to try and sing, he was like, yeah, of course you are. Let's do that. So that was amazing. And then Mike Valerio, who is a bass player who's pretty much played on every film I've ever worked on. But he'll also, when John Williams, the composer, Star Wars, all that, tours, he plays with him. And he plays with, 1,000 different bands. He helped me. He was my old neighbor. And he helped me put like a band together for this album. So I got Gabe Witcher from the Punch Brothers, the fiddle player, who's it was amazing because I booked 2 days in the studio for Gabe. Mm-hmm. And then he came in and I played him a song just like I did now. And we were talking the whole time. And I was like, all right, let's chart this out and we'll record it. And then Gabe's like, no, I got it. And I was like, you got all the changes, everything? He's like, yeah, I got it. He went in, did 2 perfect takes, totally different, both perfect. And he did that with 12 songs. We started at 9 a.m. He was out by 11:30.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So like being around somebody like musicians like that is crazy. And then Johnny Bradley from Gary Clark Jr.'s band. He was in Gary Clark Jr.'s band for years. Flew out to play bass on this as well. And that was an amazing experience meeting him. And then the drummer, Jimmy Paxson. Do you guys know Jimmy? If anyone looks up Jimmy, you'll be like, oh yeah, that guy. Like, yeah. Because he's played with everyone. I think he's on tour with the Chicks right now.
Oh wow.
Cool.
Yeah. And he's played with them for years.
Speaking of drummer, I love this story. Our little one, our very first time in Nashville. This was our first experience and his very first experience. Mm-hmm. We're walking down almost to Broadway in front of Honky Tonk Central, and the drummer in there at that time seen Lil Chris and said, told someone to give him this drumstick. So they walk out, they say, hey, that guy in there wants you to have this drumstick. So we thought that was cool.
Because he was there watching the music.
So then we crossed the street cross Broadway and we're in front of Dierks Bentley Row and we're watching that band play. And the lead singer who was on stage that night or that day looked out and seen him holding a drumstick. So she jumps down and asks him would he like to play one song with them on their drums.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And so she pulls him through the window.
Had he ever played before?
No,
he had never played. Well, he did one time, but not professionally.
I mean, he did one time, like just hitting him on this other place. That was an accident that happened too, like a year before that. But here it is. She pulls him through. She puts him on the thing, and he's getting to hit the drums while they sing "Summer of '69"
for the whole song to a packed house, cheering crowd,
and changed his life forever, but also changed her life forever.
Yeah,
the small acts of kindness, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. That was that's a story we will never forget,
and he'll never forget.
And again, and it was our introduction to Nashville because that was the first night that we were down in Nashville. I mean, we already had a hotel checked in,
first time
and
ever.
So we drove down, parked, and there we were, and that happens. Right, we didn't even walk down Broadway yet. This was we were walking to get there.
That gives you chills. And by the way, he did what people worked 20 years to do.
Yeah, like he's already played on Broadway in Nashville.
Yeah, he just walked on in, played an amazing song to a cheering crowd.
How about we never forget it?
And that was our introduction to Nashville, and we're just sitting there
fell in love with
we were like, okay, we're supposed to be here.
We're moving here. This place is a magical place.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. And Andrew Dorff lived there too, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Did you guys ever meet him?
No. We didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think Steven Dorff Jr. moved there last year too.
So. Oh, he did too.
Yeah, that's right. I think he did move back.
So y'all have to get him over for your fundraiser because he's a great musician, just like his dad and his brother. Yeah.
I'm sure since it's for his dad, we'll probably have no problem with that.
Yes, hopefully.
I think you can pull it off.
Mike can actually pull that one off.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I've been toying with the idea of Nashville myself. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go there and spend some time, I think, in June.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
And I'll see Steven Dorff and hang out.
Yeah, because we're going up there April 19th for a week. and then
And back
Right.
for
and
4th of
and
July.
back 4th of July, and back on our 20th anniversary in October.
Oh wow! So why are you guys waiting to move?
What money right now?
Trying
Money.
to coordinate things.
And
yeah,
trying
get
to.
everything
What I
done.
don't want is move, and then we have to move back somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want trying to plan again. We know that we're going to eventually have to take that step of faith anyway.
Yeah.
But I'd like to have at least some ducks in order. And one thing that's kind of helped too is one issue that we were having is my dad was having a lot of health problems here in Savannah, and he recently passed away.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to
we
hear
went-
that.
Well, thanks. And he was, his concern was, well, if y'all move, I'm going to have nobody. So, and we get
didn't
that.
want that.
We didn't
We
want
wanted to be
that.
close
So we were
by,
kind of
yeah.
in limbo for a little while. And since he passed away, now we're like, well, now is the time.
There's no other family in Savannah, and nothing to hold us here now.
Now is the time. I think you all should make a T-shirt.
Yes, now's the time.
It
Love
really
it.
is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There isn't tomorrow, really.
Exactly.
Right.
We have to. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say Tom Waits.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. I mean, when I first heard Tom Waits, wow, when I was teenager, I was like, what is this? It was so
Yeah.
crazy, and the storytelling was so amazing. It seems like you're going to like a beatnik time, like, you're kind of riding the train or something with an old
Mhm.
storyteller. So when I first moved to LA, do you guys know Wim Wenders, the director? He did Buena Vista Social Club, and some other. It's a music documentary about Cuban music.
Oh, wow.
But he's also done, like traditional films with Nick Cave. I don't know if you guys know that artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was working on a film. I was interning at a place, and Vim was upstairs, and I got a phone call. I was answering the phones, and he goes, "Is Wim in?" And I go, "You mean Vim?" He goes, "Wim." Yeah, can I tell him who's calling? He goes, "Yeah, it's Tom Waits."
Oh,
wow.
wow. Oh, yeah.
I lost it. I was like, "This is not real." Like, I totally embarrassed myself on that phone.
You were probably like, am I getting pranked?
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like that because Vim was one of my favorite directors. He did Wings of Desire, which as a teenager was one of my favorite movies, or late teens. And then Tom Waits was calling for him, and I was like, "Welcome to Hollywood."
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been this from that moment. Nothing has ever been that great again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's a song that you've heard that you wish you wrote?
Oh man, can we just name any Beatles song?
Yeah.
I mean, or any Bob Dylan song.
Mhm.
Man, there's so Willie Nelson. Like
Mhm.
I like every time I listen to music, I'm like, how did they do that?
Mhm.
Like, I do that every single day. I'll put on like Ava Brothers. Have you guys been listening to Ava Brothers at all?
Haven't yet.
They're from North Carolina, I think.
Oh, North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah. And Americana.
Okay.
Okay.
There's like the first song I heard was Laundry Room.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
He's, is a young man trying to convince his girlfriend to sneak out through the laundry room. And I was like, man, like, how do you write it's beautiful. And then I just went down the rabbit hole with the Ava Brothers. And I think I flew to Red Rocks and saw him at least 10 times. Before
One of my favorite songs, and it's what I have to play every time I feel frustrated, is "The Climb" by Miley Cyrus. Because again, that's one of them songs where sometimes your faith is shaken a little bit, and you're trying to move forward, but you got all these mountains in your way, and it's such a great, powerful song.
When I first heard that song, I was like, because I didn't really know Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
And, you just kind of see what's in the tabloids or the news.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the blips, the 3 second.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus, blah, blah, blah.
The sound.
And then
bites.
you hear and you're like, what kind of talent is she? Like, she's not even from this planet.
Yes.
I mean, she had great lineage. For
Yeah.
sure.
Right. Billy
But-
Ray. Mm-hmm.
But man, like, she is special.
Yeah, she is.
She is.
That's why
Amazing voice.
It's hard to judge anyone because you're like, as soon as you get a moment with them, you're like, yeah, they're like, everyone's performed a miracle.
Yep.
Mhm.
And again, we can't judge. But we bring on so many people on our show that have all different beliefs, and many that don't
All
believe the
walks
way
of
we
life,
believe. But I
yeah.
don't care. You know, my goal is not to talk politics, not to talk some stuff, anything controversial. My
Right.
job is to get their story, because their story is what connects.
You guys bring joy, and that's what I love about your show. There's
Oh,
never
Means a lot. Thank
there's
you.
never a time I listen to you and like, it's never divisive. It's just it's joy. And
Can't say there's not been a few times where I've had to steer people back.
Yeah, he's good at that.
especially the last couple of years, right? We all
Yeah.
took a left turn where we should have taken a right. All of us.
Yeah.
Because it was hard. And they're just talking heads and things and craziness and insaneness and
Yeah.
Twitter and this and that. And you're just like overwhelmed by
Mhm.
all the, like, it was crazy.
And I think
COVID
a
and
lot of
everything.
times people get upset with each other online and stuff, and it's really, I think, even though they have different beliefs, everybody's, I think, scared at a certain level.
That's what
and
it all is fear, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, there's fear of vaccines, there's fear of government, there's fear of COVID, there's fear. It's just like people want to protect their children, and they don't
Mhm.
really know the answers.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
all fear. Yeah.
Exactly.
and that's why we try to do our show in a way where, you know what, all that's happening, we can't change it. We'll just come on, bring some people on, and let's just talk.
Can't change it. Do what's best for you. Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
exactly.
And your family. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's look, some years down the road, and let's say you're a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like for you, you're there. What do you hope that you never forget?
The struggle of humanity, right? It's really hard for people. And just being out there playing music, you get to see a moment of like, just people being like emotional and honest. And this outdoor show I just played in Austin, it was just people eating, crawdads and things, like
Yeah.
sitting around. And then some people approached me afterwards, and then one girl came up and was like, I cried 3 times.
Wow.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm.
We have to remember people are going through things. Like, and that also makes it hard to judge people because we don't know their
Mm-hmm.
everyone has. You had cancer, teenage. You almost lost your life
Yes.
before it really began. Like, think of that. Think of what person that made you. And my oncologist said, he goes, this is what's going to happen. And I think you took the same road I did. He said, there's 2 roads after cancer. There's, you become depressed and you worry about your life, and all you think about is death.
Mm.
Or you embrace life.
Yes.
He goes, you've got 2 choices. And he goes, in 2 years, you're going to come back to me and say, you know what? Cancer is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
Yes.
And I won't say
I
that,
agree with that.
but I can say it changed me like nothing else has ever
It
changed.
does change you. It gives you a different perspective to appreciate life more, because it can
does.
be
And
really
see, I
short.
went through 19 years of addictions. And
Right.
5 years of our marriage, the first 5 years of marriage was still in those addictions. So she not only had that leaf of life from years ago, and then she's in this marriage where she's wondering, who did I marry for a little while? But she never nagged me, never put me down, never done any of that. She always loved me at the level that I needed to be loved. And I can honestly say, if God didn't bring her in my life, there's no way that I would be living today. And there's definitely no way I'd be sober for 14 years.
Yeah, that's a beautiful testament, right? To love.
Oh,
Right.
thank you.
I mean, it
Mhm.
is, because you wouldn't be the person you are today, or you might not be here, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Like when people say, you know, I always ask on Facebook and all that, you know, what would you change from your past? Like when they find out my addictions, you know, would you go back and no, I wouldn't. My addiction, the 19 years of addictions made me who I am today. If I changed that, who knows what I'd be?
Right. Maybe change what caused the addiction, but not what made you what you are today.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all look in our past and go, well, that was crazy.
We all do.
We all do. Yeah.
Yes. So what are some sources of inspiration for you?
Like I was saying, like every day I literally am inspired. And just because this is fresh on my mind, I was just at South by Southwest. And they gave me an artist badge so I could go into any of the shows.
Okay.
And so I just kind of skipped around, not knowing where I was going. And every show I was just blown away by the talent and the musicianship. And then like 20-year-olds doing this incredible music, and then 60-year-olds playing these like heartfelt, beautiful. It was, I just couldn't, I barely got any sleep while I was there. Because I would just wake up in the morning and go find, it didn't really start till noon, but there would always be somebody playing somewhere earlier.
Yeah.
So I'd get a street. Have you had the breakfast tacos in Austin? If you haven't, put it on your bucket list.
We'll add that to the list.
Yeah, that's once you've had one, you go back every day. Maybe twice a day. But I would do that and then go see music, and it's so inspiring.
And you, speaking of young people, one of our very first guests we had on the show, a girl named Ava Paige. She was 15 at the time, and she was in the middle of going through chemo and all that because she had leukemia.
She had 2 years.
Of chemo and all that because of leukemia, and she just now finally came cancer free. So it's all stopped the treatments because apparently with leukemia it's a 2-year process. It's not like the other cancers for the young people. And she's just this amazing artist that
she's a force.
She's a force to reckon with, and it was just amazing.
And she didn't slow down her music at all. She kept going. She was writing a lot of songs and performing everywhere.
In fact, any week that she would do the treatments would be rough weeks for her, and it was looking like the treatment was going to lay on the week that she was supposed to come on the show, and she was going to do it anyway.
She was going to do it from the hospital.
She was willing to do it from the hospital bed if she had to.
Like, that's dedication there.
So when people make excuses, it just like brought me back when I was doing, because I had to do chemo as well.
That's why I did 8 months of chemo.
Yeah, and they put you in the chair and they roll the thing over, and there's all these bags dripping, and they're handling it with like all this protection because it's poison that they're putting into your body. And then it makes you have to pee a lot because
that's something they don't tell you about at the beginning.
They're just dripping all kinds of stuff into you, and then
going in for hours and hours.
Yeah, and the walk to the bathroom, like, was insane. Like, because you'd see grandmothers and you'd see 5-year-olds and like all these like beautiful faces with no hair, just like, and I never gave a smile and didn't get one back in that entire time.
Wow.
But man, those moments brought me to tears every single treatment.
Yes, really. Definitely remember those days.
Like, you care about them more than yourself because they're so young and vulnerable and have so much life in front of them. And that's why we do music and art, right? So,
absolutely. Yeah. Music is healing. Music and art definitely have healing powers.
Yeah. So how long did you do chemo for?
It was 8 months, 16 treatments, 8 months.
Wow.
And they wanted me at the time to do radiation too, but somehow the chemo did manage to get all of it.
She refused the radiation because she knew that would for sure probably block out kids from that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
And I'm still here. They said I probably wouldn't be there 2 years later, and I'm here 25 years later.
And here you are, happy with
Yeah.
children and loving and moving to Nashville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enjoying life.
A
Yeah.
dear friend just went through cancer treatment, and she had to be in, like, right before COVID. She was in the hospital by herself, and nobody could visit her for 6 weeks because of the
Oh, wow.
treatments. And then
Right.
COVID hit, and
Oh.
they plastered her off in the hospital, so nobody could visit then.
Oh.
And then she had to get bone marrow transplant, which is incredibly painful.
Oh, yes.
And
Wow.
she just finished in November. And the thing I didn't know about bone marrow transplants is you have to get all your like polio vaccines, everything start over.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You
wow.
have to redo all
So
of
you have to
those.
redo everything. But for the first night out, we went to a Nick Cave concert
Oh, okay.
because
yeah.
that's her favorite artist. And so
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
she's cancer free.
Oh, that's
and-
great.
Yeah. After 2 years of, I mean, you've been through it too. It's
Yeah.
hell. Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
absolutely is. And you
Yeah.
never forget it when
You
been
never
through
forget it. And we couldn't see her, so we just have to like bake something or make food.
Yeah.
Like there's so little you can do,
Right.
and you want to do so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
but
what would,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. All right.
I was just thinking that, like, it's funny how life turns. It's like you're graduating high school, and then everyone's off to college, and then everyone's getting married, and then everyone's having kids, and then everyone's getting divorced, and then everyone's getting cancer. And it's just like watching the arc
Mhm.
of life is really fascinating. And
Yeah, and because of
It
my
truly
addictions,
is.
I hung out with the rough crowd all my life years ago, especially my late teens, early 20s. And
yeah.
so now that I'm older, I've watched so many friends from back then pass away who are all my age, and they
Oh,
shouldn't.
right. So
and
sad.
and it's one of them things where it's like, you know, that life just caught up to them, and so many left and right have been dying. And I'm grateful to be here because, again, if I wouldn't have got sober, I'd be one of them.
You would.
Yeah. You definitely would have been.
And never have survivor's guilt because you conquered that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their choices and has to make their choices.
So true.
Yeah. But it is a hard thing. Like, I see friends who have died of cancer, and then I go, why didn't I? How come I was lucky?
Mhm.
So we wrestle with those things too, I think, a little bit. I don't know if you
Yes.
do, but
Yeah.
but I have
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
knew some people that were friends back then, and when I was having the chemo treatments, and a couple of them didn't make it,
Yeah.
and definitely remember them.
Yeah.
I was one of the lucky ones that did, thankfully.
Yeah. Embrace each day. And what were you going to say? I interrupted her.
Oh, I was just going to ask the next question. What would you like for your legacy to be in music? What would you want to be known and remembered for?
I like, more than anything, I want to do things for charity and raising money for cancer awareness.
Oh, that's great.
And even one person helped. That's all I care about.
Well, you need to come to our event, the 40 over 40, because Steve Dorff's charity, it benefits the Monroe,
Oh, yes.
Vanderbilt Children's
Yes.
Hospital.
Oh, the hospital.
Fighting children's cancer. Yeah.
I would like nothing more than to do that. I will drop everything I'm doing to do something like that.
Well, we'll keep you
we'll
updated on
definitely
that.
keep in touch about that. We'll let
And
you know.
I'll call young Steven Dorff, and we could do a duet.
There you
That
go.
would be amazing. We'd
Yeah.
love that.
I will
That'd be
I will
great.
drag him there.
Yes, put him there. Yes.
Make him sing a song with me. Yeah.
Yes.
That would be
Love to see
incredible.
that.
I love that Steve Dorff is doing that. And check out his book,
Oh,
because
we will.
it is, you're like, how did he write all these songs? Like, it's one
Yeah.
after the other. Like,
List is extensive. Absolutely.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing the talent in that family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I just want to like be near him, so maybe some of it falls on me.
Some of it rub off.
Exactly.
And you guys get that a lot. Like, how inspiring is this show for you guys? is.
Oh, it's amazing every day. We are privileged
we
to get
never
to do this show. To
imagine,
talk to some of the artists we get to talk
because when we started the
and
show
the
out,
actors.
it was actually a up and coming country music interview show.
Yeah,
that's the
rising
roots.
country artists.
Because we had a lot of contacts in Nashville.
Yeah.
So that was kind of
That
the
he
roots
had
of the
built
show.
up
But
over
then
the
when
years.
COVID
Mhm.
happened, we opened the door for all entertainment. So it's been amazing that we've had like Randy Travis on, Sarah Evans, Lee Bryce,
Oh, John Michael
Montgomery,
and actors like Ed Asner and Brian Luttrell from the Backstreet Boys.
It's just been
amazing.
We just never imagined the show getting. I imagined the show getting here one day, but I never imagined doing this right from a room of a home.
Yes.
And we're just two ordinary people that just had this crazy dream.
Because when he first brought up the idea of the show, I was like, well, I guess we can do it. What would we call the show?
And I was like, well, what else? The Chris and Sandy Show.
I'm like, you
Chris
are
and Sandy
crazy.
Show.
Nobody knows who we are. Who's gonna watch a show of our
Yeah, she kind of didn't believe in the name, but
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? When you look at all the big shows out there that have one or two people, now granted, when they have 4 and 5 people on the show, then they call it different.
Right.
But when
Yeah.
it's 1 or 2 people, the ones at the top, it's always their names.
And so easy to remember,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
It simplifies it.
And
yeah.
so I was like, let's just do it and let's see what happens. And again, it was just one of them things where all of a sudden, I remember the first big breakthrough that we kind of had. I was frustrated at this time and I was going through a pity party. It was a couple months. It was like a little bit after COVID started. And I remember getting this email from a PR company saying that they had 6 people they want to get on our show. And I'm going through the list, and one of them was Anna Christina Cash. I was like, I wonder if she's related to Cash family. So I looked her up, and come to find out, she's married to John Carter Cash.
Yeah.
And of course, Johnny Cash
and
June's
Cash's
son. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, well, we'll do all 6, and we want to do Anna first. And so we get her on, and because we get her on, that brought Carlene Carter on, which then brought Georgette Jones on, which then brought Jenny Gill on, which then brought Taylor Lynn on. So all of a sudden, we had all these legacy kids coming on our show.
Kids of legends
And
coming on. Mhm.
It kind of solidified our show at that moment. And then that's when the bigger people started coming.
So, right, a tiny spark, and there you go. But you said you woke up and had the idea. Was it one of those where you just literally was like, you know what we should do? Or was it something that was percolating a little?
Pretty much.
It was almost like that. But what
I
had
love
happened
that.
was
I love that.
what had happened was back in 2014-15, we launched a website called New Country Buzz, where we would interview up and coming artists.
Yeah.
And we end up, but we didn't do a show. It was, I would type it out. I hated that. I transcribed. We even got, then we even got to interview Kelsey Ballerini before she was Kelsey.
When their first single
and I really loved doing it, but I hated the transcription side. So we shut the show, the site down and all. I was just like, I can't do this. And I wanted to push it away so much that I even let go the domain New Country Buzz. But every 6 months, I would look up New Country Buzz. Nobody's bought it. Nobody's bought it. A year later. No. And finally, one day in 2018, I think it was, I told Sandy at the end, I was like, nobody has still bought that name. That's our name. We're supposed to do so. Let's finish what we started. So we relaunched New Country Buzz with the idea of doing a show called New Country Buzz. But then as time progressed, I was like, we're in a different mindset now. Let's do a show, the Chris and Sandy Show.
Yeah, because it doesn't limit you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chris and Sandy show is everything now,
it's broad.
Right?
It can be any guest.
And when I first told her, I don't think she believed me on this part either. But when I first told her, I was like, look, I want to do the Chris and Sandy show too, because it's generic, so that anywhere we feel God leads us, we can still be that without changing the name. And we're an interview show, and so that was kind of the spark of it. But we started with up and coming country music because that was the contacts we had. And then it's led to where we are today, where it's a full entertainment interview show, and we bring on all aspects. In fact, yesterday we had an ex-pro football player who's now a musician.
I actually heard that yesterday. How
Oh, he's
amazing
great
is
guy.
that story?
Yeah,
And by the
that's
way,
yeah, amazing story.
his music's pretty darn good. I was like,
Yes.
what's going on? Yeah.
Mhm.
And usually we've heard football players do music, and it usually doesn't sound like that.
That's true.
I was curious. I was like, oh, I gotta go listen to this.
Yeah, because it was amazing that here it is. He was 8 years pro football. When I asked him
Yes.
about the passion, all that, I never had passion for football. I'm
His
like,
passion
really?
was always
Yeah,
music.
I remember that. It was always
He
music
just
since he was a
hadn't
kid.
pursued it yet.
It was
Yeah.
stunning that he had so much talent as an athlete, but had no passion for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Think about having that much talent in life.
Yes.
Like, to be a pro athlete, like, first of all, you're an elite human being.
Mhm.
Just to
get there.
be considered for that, let alone get there, and then
Yes.
like do music on that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is why you guys are doing the show.
Yep,
For
That's
people
it.
like me to go, you what?
That's
Yeah.
it.
So as
Yeah,
we
beautiful.
come to a close here,
Yeah.
what advice would you give somebody who wants to do what you do?
You have to do it, right? I mean,
Just do it. Mhm.
you've got to figure out a way to do it. Like, that's the other thing I'd like to do is being 50, like same as you, like, who does a pivot like this and who chases a dream like this? And
Mhm.
we're in a really special time. When I started in music, you had to be 20 and you had to have a look and you had to dress away and you had to, now it's not like that. And
Right.
as much as people like knock, online streaming music and everything, it takes the face away and gives a voice. And we're like, it's a free fall for all right now. Like, there is no excuses. No
Right.
excuses. You do your interview from the bed in the chemo room. Like,
Mhm.
just
Exactly.
you have to do it now.
Do it.
And everyone has so much talent and so, like, everyone, like, it's always, I'm just amazed all the time.
And the cool thing is, it's not that more people have talent. It's that because of social media and the internet, we can see
We get to see
Yeah.
it.
that
They
more
have a
people have.
platform.
It's always been the
Mhm.
same, but people didn't have platforms 20 years ago.
To showcase it.
So they didn't have a
Yeah.
shot.
And I talk to people about this because a lot of people are kind of down on, the Spotify kind of model.
Mhm.
But I was like, I was putting up posters and like duplicating cassettes and then drawing out the pictures or photocopying them, putting them on the cassette tapes, like, just to reach 10 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a lot of work. And
Mhm.
now we have this gift, like, and you guys too, right?
Yeah.
You would have had to have been on the radio or on television.
We would have had
Yep.
Would have
years
had
ago.
to have
That
been.
would have been the only platforms.
Yeah. And if you have a voice and something to say, and like, y'all are proving it every day, right? Like,
Yep.
that's it.
Yeah.
There is somebody to hear when you have something to say.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. So as we close out, tell everybody how they can find you.
Oh yeah, because I'm terrible at self-promotion. So I'm glad I wouldn't have even thought of it. My fiance is like, you have to say stuff at your shows. I'm like, I'm just there singing. I don't know. But I have a website, Derek V Music, and it's spelled DEREK and V. I just went with V because Vanderhorst is that's a lot to type out. So DerekVmusic.com or The Real Derek V Music on Instagram. And
Awesome.
I have YouTube and all of that. The album comes out April 14, but you can pre-order it. And actually, you can just order it on my website now. And I have vinyl coming. Do you guys know about vinyl? Like, this is the hip new thing.
Everything always comes back.
It comes back around.
It takes a year to print your album now. It's
Oh,
so
wow.
backlogged.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's crazy. And I even got like a big favor, and it's still taking me 8 months.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
but you know, with digital streaming and all that, you can pre-order, or if you want to wait for it for free, which I'm all for also, is April 14th on Spotify. But sign up on the mailing list. And I'm terrible at social media, so you won't get bombarded with emails. I promise.
Yes.
So, but I'll list events and things
Awesome.
Great.
on there, or new songs I'm going to release. I did a full album, but I've got like 100 songs I need to start recording.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just going to
Wow.
start releasing them
Yeah.
online, you know, hopefully one a week when things slow
Oh,
down.
Wow.
great.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we really enjoyed having you on the show today, and we
We
look
did.
forward to having you back down the road.
Oh man, and I'm going to see y'all in Nashville,
Yeah.
Yes.
because that's
We
a
look
very
forward to
special
that.
thing. I'm so glad you guys are doing that. Yeah.
We
That's really
appreciate
cool.
We
that.
do.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. And this meant a lot being with you guys today.
It's same
Oh,
here.
same here with
We
us.
loved it.
Thank you.
And I
so
loved
much.
hearing your stories. Oh my gosh. So great.
Oh,
All right,
thank
thank you.
you.
All right. Take care.
You
All right,
too.
you too. Bye.
Bye.